There's more. Cat ladies, roll it. Cat ladies.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
Offensive on so many levels. For once, 2 hours might not be long enough. It feels like 2 hours too long some days these days. But, I mean, what? And I cannot wait until the vice presidential debates. I really do hope that Kamala Harris challenges him to a half a dozen. I mean, you cannot list how many people that one state. And I don't know what's worse, Tucker Carlson's nodding or the comments about cat ladies and childless women. I mean, these are debates and cultural divides that were bridged generations ago. And he's out there just serving them up like slop.
But the difference between J.D. Vance and Tucker Carlson is that we're talking about he could be a heartbeat away from being president.
Right.
Talking about cat ladies and
of every cat lady in America.
Right. So we need people to really realize we're talking about him being the real vice president if Trump would succeed. For those like Tim Scott and them that are running around talking about that they're not racist. You just, in the last segment, Vance quoted Andrew Jackson, the most racist president in American history. He nominated Judge Roger Taney to the Supreme Court that did the Dred Scott decision that said blacks are property. But that's not bad enough. The only portrait that we know of Donald Trump hung in the Oval Office was of Andrew Jackson. So how many signals do they have to show? Throw women, blacks. You praise Andrew Jackson. You call women names that don't have children. I mean, I don't even understand what we are considering here unless we've all start drinking this Kool-Aid that Bannon says makes us, from Jesus to St. Paul. I still can't get over that one.
It's amazing. So, Cornell, write the ad. What does it look like?
It literally writes... Nicole, you know the most effective advertising is not of actor voiceover. Yeah. It is
we are still
in their language, straight up. That is a devastating ad. The gender gap will grow, not shrink.
Yeah, I mean, I almost want to hear it again, but it's play it again. Let me hear the cat lady and Tucker one more time. Can we do that? Okay. I got to hear this one more time.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
How did Pete Buttigieg get rolled in there? I'm so glad I played it again. Not childless and not a cat.
I think it's a not subtle attack of gays, Nicole. I don't know if you've caught that.
This is outrageous. And the reason I played it again is to underscore Cornell's point. I mean, I think that the only way out is through. The despair is about not any concerns about the Biden-Harris ticket's ability to govern, their ability to wage a vibrant and politically effective campaign. This guy is a gift.
A total gift. And I'd love to see it. Full frontal, full bore attack from Biden and Harris on these people, because I mean, like, that clip is outrageous. It's totally wrong in the facts, obviously. Like, our country is run by childless cat ladies or corporate oligarchs. Like, if you looked at who the CEOs are in this country, it's not childless cat ladies. Kamala Harris has stepchildren. Pete Buttigieg now has adopted children. You know what else was happening in that video? Tucker Carlson for the New York Times. This is how deep these people are in the crazy. Tucker Carlson was advocating to former President Trump that he stick with J.D. Vance, because if he had chosen a more normal candidate that believes that Ukraine has, should be able to protect themselves, like Doug Burgum, then the deep state would come for him and maybe kill him, that the deep state would kill him. That's what Tucker Carlson thinks. That's why J.D. Vance is on this ticket, because they are so deep in their own conspiracy swamp. And so when you think about that, when you think about the contrast between a ticket that can look at the Trump-Vance ticket and say, these guys believe insane conspiracies. They don't think that women have a right to stay in marriage, to leave marriages. They don't believe women have a right over their bodies. They don't believe that gays have a right to be married. They think that gays are the same as childless cat lady women, I guess, too. We can just insult them. Like, they want to have camps in the largest mass deportation in history. They want to overthrow the democracy. Like, the contrasts, the cup overfloweth of contrasts.
Yeah.
So let's see them.
You know, Vaughn, Trump's political instincts, if we call them that, have been toward shaving the edges off for the purpose of disguising the extreme nature of his abortion position, of his marriage, same-sex marriage position. J.D. Vance obliterates all of that. I didn't think it was going to work, but to the degree that they sought to sort of hide the tamales in the Republican platform, J.D. Vance rips the curtain right off.
Honestly, Nicole, sorry, do you mind asking the first part of that question again? I missed the top part of your question.
Some of the reporting ahead of the convention was around the RNC platform, where Trump's side sought to shave the edges off the extreme positions on abortion that the abortion activists wanted in there. There's still personhood in there, which is about as extreme as it gets, which throws IVF off the table and criminalizes birth control. But they sought to do some political jujitsu rhetorically. They also sought to shave some of the edges off of the harsh, intolerant language around marriage equality. J.D. Vance annihilates both of those political. I thought they were shallow and would ultimately be ineffective. But to the degree that that was the political effort the Trump campaign was involved in, J.D. Vance rips the curtain back on that and reveals it all as BS.
And I think that the question coming out of that is, from a political campaign level with 3.5 months left, do the Biden campaign, do they use J.D. Vance as a point of drawing that wedge and drawing that contrast and making it clear that the idea of what the GOP platform may be may run counter to the exact policies of their own ticket and the advocacy of it? I think that there is a recognition from the clips that you have played that J.D. Vance has done a lot of television. He's done a lot of podcasts. You played that one clip earlier where he talked about firing a major part of the civil workforce. I think that there is, for J.D. Vance, a reality that this is somebody here who has effectuated and made clear the way that he believes a government should be run. And the positions that he has taken are quite explicit positions. And so I think for the Biden campaign, that's the question. How much do you use and try to introduce J.D. Vance to the public at large as somebody half the age of Donald Trump, who was going to be not only the president of the Senate, but also have the direct ear of Donald Trump as well as his family? I think it's a prudent question to be asking, and I think that ultimately it's going to be the Biden campaign and the extent to which they try to use J.D. Vance as a wedge for the ticket outside of Donald Trump himself.
Now, if he is who he's presented himself as, then this breaking news should come as a really welcome surprise. And we've just learned that Vice President Kamala Harris, who he lumps in as a, quote, childless cat lady, end quote, has challenged J.D. Trump is America's Hitler Vance to a televised debate on August 13th. Vaughn Hilliard, what do you think?
I think that this is a matchup that Kamala Harris, I think, will be quite comfortable in, right? I covered her presidential campaign when she was running for the Democratic ticket. And at the time, there was the reality that she was running against Elizabeth Warren, longtime Senator Bernie Sanders, right? Joe Biden, who had been in the Senate for decades. She herself was quite new to the U.S. Senate. But where you saw her after that Atlanta debate go on the television airwaves and defend Joe Biden, but also defend the Democratic principles and campaign position, that is where she is, I think, been the most effective in terms of where she has been able to contrast draw contrast. And I think that J.D. Vance is somebody who, again, I don't think that he is a lightweight when it comes to policy or his understanding of where he has led himself on this political journey from being an ever-Trumper in 2016 to effectively being a professional and political colleague of Don Jr. and personal friend to being the running mate stalemate. And so I think that is going to be, unlike the sort of the bravado you could see from a Trump-Biden matchup on the debate stage, one that is much more focused on specifics about what the two different types of administrations could look like in 2025, depending on which ticket could win.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.